hear me out. I know there are stereotypes going around that we French are master complainers. Now, is that true?
A little.
But that's just because we know what we want and we believe it's fair to stand up for what we want. We have become masters of protests and have become pretty much known for it. Sometimes it's for noble causes and sometimes less so. But sometimes it's really up for debate, which is why protests can be so important. They often start crucial conversations. Now, this may ruffle some feathers, but let's take, for example, the recent French pension reform strikes organized by opponents of the bill proposed by the Born government to increase the retirement age from 62 to 64. Now, for most of us who have lived and worked in countries like the US where the retirement age is pretty much non-existent, it may seem like a bit of an overreaction. But in a country where most people work to live rather than live to work, adding those 2 years is a huge deal, especially because it may be 2 years this year, but then another 2 5 years from now. Let's just say that the French didn't become the place it is because of idle citizens. But is it fair to say that sometimes they take it a tad too far? Let's find out. In my time in France, I've seen my fair share of protesting. Who hasn't? Sometimes you can't even go out for a quiet vin rouge without getting caught up in a protest. So, are you enjoying the wine?
Yeah, it's very good. It's a little noisy here though, no?
Oh, that's normal. There's a protest outside, but don't worry.
Oh my god, someone just smashed the window.
Don't worry about it.
Oh my god, there's a man bleeding over there.
Don't worry about it.
Oh god, the bar is on fire.
Bill, yeah, we better leave. So, let's investigate the centuries-old French revolutionary spirit. The French revolutionary spirit has been ingrained in the nation's psyche since, well, the French Revolution, through their motto, Liberté, Égalité, Fraternité ou la mort, which translates to liberty, equality, fraternity, or death. Although the ou la mort part was dropped from the motto after the French deemed it too violent. The purpose of the revolution was to disband the monarchy and establish fairer laws, which seems fair. Another important turning point was the Commune of Paris in 1871, which was a governmental coup that established a less religious, more socialist way of French governance, separating church and state. The French say that they protest whenever they're sad or angry, so basically all the time. Hey, how you doing?
Same as usual. You? Me too. Let's go protest! Let's go!
In France, protest translates to manifestation. Yeah, that's right. The French manifest their desires. However, even the most ardent protester in France stops for summer holidays. Convenient. Then come the first few weeks of September, known as la rentrée, where protests gear up again.
Hey, did you hear that the government wants to raise taxes? What? Raise taxes? No, we must protest.
Yes, we should.
Next month? Maybe?
Yeah, I was thinking next month. Cool. Look, we might mock, but the French do not back down. Some of the biggest contemporary protests in France include May 1978, where a brutal police crackdown on socialist student protesters led to mass protests, which saw then President Charles de Gaulle lose control and flee the country for Germany. Tanks were then ordered to the suburbs of Paris in case the city needed to be reconquered. Later, the tide turned back in favor of de Gaulle before the tanks were deployed.
Whew! Sir, shall we deploy?
Yes, deploy. No, wait.
Yes, no, wait, go, wait, no, yes, I'm too old for this.
In 1995, there were again mass waves of general strikes that equated to 6 million individual strike days compared to 1 million the year before. French rail services were paralyzed for 2 whole months, but despite that, the support remained with the striking workers and people just hitchhike to work or use bikes to get around. Now, in more recent years, the Gilets jaunes have become pretty infamous in France, named after their uniform of high-vis yellow jackets, which is something that every French person owns as it can be found in every car in France, have been a focal point for French protests since 2018.
Macron!
Since then, the Gilets jaunes have arranged weekly grassroots protests on everything from carbon tax to retirement age. Always visible. As a quick disclaimer though, not all of the Gilets jaunes protests have been peaceful, and some have led to some pretty violent confrontations. And that's kind of the problem with protests. I mean, of course, some people do it for the right reasons and just want to be heard, but unfortunately, it will often be overshadowed by the few who just use the occasion to wreak havoc or loot or fight. But again, I do believe that a lot of French people use it for good, because change is good. right? Yeah, change is good. Also, the solidarity, the camaraderie, and the frequency of French protesting has got me to thinking that protesting in France is basically just another form of socialization.
Hey, what you up to today?
Not much. I was thinking maybe we could go to that restaurant you told me about.
That's a great idea. I love it there.
Great. All right. Should we meet there at around 1?
You know what? Let's make it 12 and bring a yellow jacket.
A yellow jacket? Wait, what kind of dress code is that?
Oh, well, there's a protest going on near the restaurant, so I thought we could do both.
Oh, wow. Okay. What's the protest for?
I don't know.
What? Now, of course, it's not just the French who protest, so I thought we'd look at some of the most ridiculous protests from around the world. Music fans protested the jailing of Charles Manson in the late 60s on account of the fact that the multiple killer and hippie cult leader had turned in some good tunes. You can kill as long as you make some good music. In 2008, a German man drove his 1995 BMW onto the lawn outside Frankfurt's convention center and set fire to it to protest soaring gas prices. The man's car was completely destroyed, and he faced criminal convictions for his actions. I feel like there are better ways to protest having to pay a lot for gas than by having to buy a whole new car. It doesn't seem like money is that big of an issue for this guy if he could just buy another car. Another crazy protest was when DJ Steve Dahl protested disco music at a baseball game at Chicago's Comiskey Park. He piled up vinyl records and blew them up as thousands of anti-disco riders rushed the field. 39 people were eventually arrested for disorderly conduct for storming the field because of disco music. I don't know. Look, let's face it, the French have a certain je ne sais quoi when it comes to protesting. All of us other nations are too concerned about being rude or inconveniencing people, which is kind of the point of protest, is to inconvenience people so that they change things.
We should protest against the government for not collecting our trash. I think we should send them a message.
Yes, yeah, I totally agree. You know what? I'm gonna write a strongly worded email.
Pardon?
No, I mean a strongly worded letter, and I'll even pay for the stamp.
No, we'll send them a message by dumping all of our uncollected trash somewhere.
Okay, yeah, maybe we dump it next to our trash cans and, you know, what accumulates.
No, we shall dump a steaming pile of trash outside the house of Emmanuel Macron.
Oh, well, that seems a little intense, you know? It'd probably be really inconvenient for him to have trash outside of his house.
Man, that's the point of a protest. It's supposed to be an inconvenience.
Oh, okay.
And while we're at it, let's set fire to the trash too.
Protest isn't always about action. Words can have power too. And I suppose when it comes to protesting, that's a bit more up my street. Here are some of my favorite protest signs from around the world. At the March for Science protest, someone said, "So bad even introverts are here," which is just so accurate. Donald Trump has inspired quite a few placards in his time, including "Dump Trump," "Without immigrants, Trump would have no wives," and "Impeach him by the..." Super classy. Another one is, "If God hates gays, why are we so cute?" So true. Oh, and my all-time favorite, and a cause I can get on board with, is yes. So, what do you guys think? Have the French got protesting right? Do they go a bit too far? Is people power the only way to make a change? Let us know what you think in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching, and make sure to subscribe for new videos every week. Au revoir!